What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here. Look, I would VOD review anybody else if I could, if there was someone else that was as interesting, as inspiring as this player, but YBY1 might be the best player in the entire world. He is currently 330 LP on NA already. His average placement over 90 games is a 3.1 with a 35% win rate. His last 20 looks beautiful. If you look at the leaderboard here, it looks like Dish Soap is higher, but that's just because he promoted to GM already. He's a full 100 LP higher than Dish Soap with less games played. I don't understand how this guy is so good at TFT. So let's watch him play and learn. And I mean, that's all you can do, right? All you can do is watch him and learn. This is actually a VOD from yesterday. You can see in the top right that his scores actually didn't look that good yesterday. He had a rough run of it over a few games, but really picked it back up over the last couple of days. But I wanted to VOD review this game because it was an interesting game. It was an interesting opener into a really cool setup, so I wanted to check it out. We're in gold subscription as our portal, by the way. I pre-translated it because I'm a beast. Already YB1 from the start here, he sees Kog'Maw pair, he sees Cho'Gath pair, and wants to hold both to potentially play into this mythic opener. I do think that this is a pretty non-standard opener. As far as like the openers that you get really excited for, I think this is one of the openers that you are the least excited to play when you think about stuff like Storyweaver, think about stuff like Faded openers. But he has a Kog'Maw pair and he has a Cho'Gath pair, so YB1 is not one to, you know, fall too much into the meta and say, oh, these are meta comps, so I have to play them. He, he picks up upgrades, he buys good units and good items, and has a really good time of it. Augment-wise here, I think the middle and the right one are both quite bad here, Bulk and Keepers. I like both of these augments as well. YBY1 seems something pretty interesting here in Silver Spoon, which is kind of a wild pickup, but it really makes sense when you think about just how YBY1 likes to play the game, which is just this high-tempo playstyle. I'm curious how this game would have gone actually if he hadn't hit that Cho'Gath too. But I think his idea is that with Cho'Gath pair and Kog'Maw pair, even though we're already going to level 4, there's still a decent chance that we find one of them to start, and then we can play actually a really strong opener. He does end up getting the Cho'Gath 2 there. Now he gets the Kog'Maw 2, so now we actually have a really, really fantastic opener here. It means that we can't make gold, but I mean, it's fine because we have a really good chance of win streaking. He also ups to slam the Crown Guard here. It's the only slam that really makes sense in the spot, right? He has Crown Guard. Edge of Night you're never making, and Gunblade is a pretty bad slam as your first slam. It's a fantastic item, but the problem with slamming Gunblade first is that you don't actually have a lot of damage to use Gunblade on. You really want to slam a couple of other items, then have Gunblade as like your last item, or even your second item if you have something like Gwynsu, Archangel, even like a Shojin, just that you have something for that Gunblade to scale off of. But with no other items, Gunblade is pretty worthless. Crown Guard, on the other hand, a solid first item, good on Cho'Gath because he has AP scaling, and, you know, good on Cho'Gath because he was your only 2-star unit. So yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic opener at this point. We get to make 10 at 2-3, don't quite get to, you know, make 10 at 2-2 because we had such a strong board already. We spent gold leveling and buying actual units to put on our board, but still making 10 here is fantastic. 3 streak is fantastic. We have Sword open here. As far as items to slam, I would be excited about like a Shojin, I guess, but interested to see what YBY1 ends up making because we can't get Shojin anymore. He's gonna opt for just the bow here because it's on a bard, which I'm kind of blown away by the fact that Bow Bard went this far on Carousel, but now we have options. If we find a Thomas Kench, we can play 5 Mythic on this board and just play the easiest Mythic board of all time. We also got a bow, so if we get dropped a rod at any point, now we can make Gwynsu Bard. The only awkward thing about this spot is that we already used a bow on Crown Guard, so we're less likely to see a bow later down the line, so it's gonna be a little bit hard to pick that up, but we can potentially get it from Augment, potentially get it off Carousel. We're finally going to lose a fight to the Sunfire Jax. This person's actually down in Augment because they have Tiniest Titan. And this is the stand-in Puddles one. Actually, this is interesting. YBY1 isn't interested in standing in the Puddles because he's pretty rich. I'm surprised that he doesn't want to stand in Puddles because he would really love the 3 components one. If he gets the one that's 3 components here, he would be overjoyed because that could just be Rod for Gwynsu Gunblade. He just gets 1 component here, which is, you know, fine enough. But yeah, I'm actually a bit surprised that YBY1 didn't want to stand in the Puddles there, but I think his idea is that his board's already pretty good. Wow, this is a wild play, but I think it makes so much sense. He's actually going to sell the Bard here. He doesn't have a single rod. He's nowhere near, and the other thing is he got this extra component and it's a belt, so we're just so far from actually having Bard items that he's just going to opt to not play around the Bard, and he's just going to use these units to push levels, which I don't know. I mean, tell me how many of you guys would have sold Bard there? Because I think Bard is, I think to many people, Bard is like one of the best units in the game. Also, look at this. Wow, really, really beautiful pivot of the board. He's going to get the Silas in. We see it immediately. And now we're playing around Umbral with the Silas. We get both here. We get another, we get, oh my God, we get so much stuff there. We get a Tom Kench that ends up getting sold, a Bard that ends up getting sold. And he really wants to just play around this board right now. Also, triple pose setup. So he has to make red buff, essentially. And I'm wondering if he wants to make anything else here. I really hate this Nashor's item. But also, ooh, okay, he's just gonna go GS. Yeah, I like GS much more as an item. The problem is, it's another one of those items that is pretty mediocre early. I think another one of the reasons why he wanted to pick up the Silas and play around it is because the Crown Guard does so well on it, right? It's a fantastic item for Silas, so we're just gonna put Crown Guard on Silas, and I mean, now we have Silas pair, which is amazing. Yeah, not a fan. I mean, Salamin too is not terrible. Ooh, I really do like this middle augment. I forgot what it's called, but ooh, he's between both actually. Scoreboard Scrapper, by the way, this augment. I haven't looked at the stats, but when I looked, if you just think about this augment, I think it sucks. So he's between Inspiring Epitaph and the Harm Assist here, and he's go for it. Yeah, I like Epitaph a lot here. You can play it in any comp. Harm Assist is fantastic onto the Silas, but the problem is the Silas isn't really like the main focus of this board. I would say the main focus is, buying time for Kog'Maw to do work. Inspiring Epitaph is going to buy more time for Kog'Maw, and like I said, any comp you can put it in. Ooh, look at this. What are we cooking up here? A Story Weaver board with Silas and Kaisa, so it's interesting. He's going to take the 20 XP here for sure. We get to level up here. So yeah, this is Silas, Kaisa plus Story. I mean, it's like a 4 bruiser type Story Weaver board. That I would say is like relatively standard. I wonder if it's also, if there's any Exalteds in there. I don't know if he checked Exalted, but yeah, he wants to play just around these units. There are 3 Exalted here. So it's this Exalted where it's like Galio plus Silas plus 1. Maybe it is the Garen actually. So that's the other reason why he's sticking these units into the team builder. And that's the other reason that makes a lot more sense why he wanted to hold the Silas, because it fits so well onto that board. Immediately, YBY1 went to, I'm gonna play around this comp. I mean, imagine if we got this Silas here, by the way. My God. Silas 2, stage 3 carousel. I mean, it's just illegal. And he gets a Morgana to play around, so he can play 4 Ghostly on this board. I mean, this spot is disgusting. There's nothing to be said about this spot. Silas 2 here, but it's because he played for it, I think so many people would have got baited by the Bard and said, oh, I have to play around Bard this game, because I have a Bard and I have a bow. But I mean, you think about what his spot would look like if he had played around Bard this game. His spot would have been a million times worse than this. So smart of him to see the Silas to pivot his board, not get like married to the Cho'Gath. But I mean, if you're interested in that, I'm not going to yuck your yum. But yeah, like you don't have to play around that. I actually have no clue what this. Oh, this is the. Oh my God, and he gets a Zanyas here. This is the Ornn item or support item. Picks up Ornn item because Zanyas is fantastic on Silas, Death's Defiance is fantastic on Silas, Infinity Force is fantastic on Silas, and he gets the best one, which is Zanyas. I mean, yeah, this is classic YBY1 playing around just, I mean, his upgraded units. I mean, you got a Silas too. I think it makes a lot of sense to play around that. And we'll see what he ends up actually playing as his board, if he wants to play around that Kaisa setup, if he wants to play something else. Well, It is to be seen. Playing Exalted is fantastic, and he's got 2 in already, so it must be. It's not the Galio and another one. I'm not actually sure what the Exalted is this game. Is it? There's no way. It's impossible for them to share straight up synergies, so there's no way it's Silas plus Galio. It must be like Silas plus Garen plus Kaisa or something like that. I mean, even that sounds really good. Okay, so we pick up an Ashe here, who can be a solid item holder. She fits in really well with the board. We get Exalted in, so yeah, it looks like it's Garen plus Silas plus somebody here. Not actually sure. Maybe the ghostly guy in the Aatrox. He's gonna actually, okay, he's gonna slam the Gargoyle onto Alawi. I like this a lot. Yeah, you can't. Silas is kind of tanky, but he's really more like an AP frontliner carry. So yeah, absolutely do not make that Gargoyle on him. Just slam it here. He's got a Guard Breaker open, but it's not a great item just in general. The spooky ghost augment is just not it. I'm sorry. They need to buff that augment. A ghost house, whatever it's called. Yeah, just don't take that ever. It looks like he's maybe looking at the sword. I don't know, I was looking at best friends. The only problem is it makes your positioning really awkward, but I mean, you surely have to take you out my sword then. I mean, we're not gonna take, yeah. Has to be this, right? Because of a cane actually, but how do you fit it? You don't, right? And if you're taking this, I would think you're making IE for your Kaisa eventually. Though I don't know if he's even playing for Kaisa at this point. I mean, this is YBY1 with 70 gold on level 8, so I think we're going to see a fast 9 BY1. It'll be interesting to see what board he ends up actually playing, because it looks like he's not really interested in that IE, so he doesn't want to play around that. And yeah, he's just releveling and looking to go 9 as soon as possible on this board, and then we'll make the board on level 9. We'll see what it ends up actually looking like, because there are a lot of level 9 variations. It'll be interesting to see what he... Okay, oh, there it is. Kaisa. Okay, so it's Kaisa... Oh, right now he's playing around the Elune, but you want to play Kaisa Morgana plus Garen is his idea, but he no longer has that option, so maybe he can keep the Elune in. I can't imagine we're going to cut Exalted late game, because it gets better the more levels you push once you hit 9 and kind of stuff. And then, and stuff such as that. All right, and I'm also really interested to see where these items go, because we have basically IE plus belts as our components here, but looks like he's not really interested in making those cloak here for, I don't know, BT. I mean, really BTing our Silas, though? Wouldn't think so. I mean, yeah, I mean, okay, we are going to BT our Silas. I don't think the stats say that this item is fantastic. I mean, it makes sense just from a, like, what the unit wants to do standpoint. You're building healing on your unit who, like, probably needs healing. But, I mean, honestly, with the Zanyas, with this Crown Guard, I don't know if he does need healing. I think something like Spark would be fantastic here, but he wants to make something. It's a third item, and I think it's certainly good enough. I mean, yeah, but, like, I don't know. In this fight, he barely drops low, so I don't think he needs BT, but I think YBY1, talking about slamming items, talking about tempo, just wanted to make an item here to make his Silas stronger, and BT's good enough. It gives AP now. That happened last set, I think. They made it give AP, so you can actually build it on an AP unit and not feel bad, not feel like, oh, why am I building a BT on my Silas? It's actually pretty solid. We're gonna run into a board who's trying to play exactly what we were trying to play. They have the Kaisa. They also had a Galio too, which is wild here. The Silas, now the BT is actually mattering a lot. We're just barely gonna lose this fight, but can't be too sad about it. We're 52 HP, and we're gonna be pre-leveled to level 9. It's interesting a lot of the units that he's holding onto here. He's holding onto the Dianas. I mean, Diana, fantastic late game unit. I have trouble sometimes fitting Diana on my late game boards, but looks like YBY1 has no issue with it. We'll see what his board ends up looking. Sells that Umbral unit just because it's not great. Doesn't really care about a lot of these 3 costs here. We got 70 gold to roll on 9 here. So many Silases. Yeah, you can already see the wheels turning in his head. He's looking at 3-star 4 costs, but he needs space to pick up all these units. So, oh my god, this is a wild roll down just because he's like just barely not hitting everything. So he kind of almost baited himself into holding some units. Like, he's holding onto these Allunes because he wants to play Exalted. Yeah, it's ooh, and this is actually gonna be a kind of a rough loss. We end up slamming the IE finally onto the Ashe here. Wanted to keep the option open, but it ends up just being an IE Ashe. We have this Irelia, who I'm thinking maybe is gonna be our carry. Gonna roll down here, pick up the Allune, pick up the Ashe 2. Now we get the Allune back in. We have 4 Umbral on the board, and we have Ashe 2. So now the board looks really, really, really solid. Yeah, we just built around good units that we can roll for on 8. It's actually an interesting level 9 roll down because he's not really playing a lot of 5 costs. He's playing Alessandra randomly on his board because it's Porcelain. But like that's the only 5 cost that we actually have on this board. But we hit Ashe 2, we hit Morgana 2, we hit Silas 2. It's kind of a nice just level 8 board really that we just managed to end up playing on 9. He's also holding on to Set Pair. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the Set unit late game, but I mean maybe there's a way. What the fuck is this? That's so late to get the 5 cost duplicator, but now he's so incentivized to roll here. He could even look at stuff like Ashe 3. Wow, that's a lot of Ashes. This is also an Irelia 2 if he wants it, and boom, immediately Irelia 2 plus the Lysandra 2. Man, I mean, just look how fast he does all these pivots, right? We're on 2x speed, but he does it like it's second nature, man. Like, he already knows what his board's gonna be before he hits everything. The second he sees the Irelia, he wastes no time. He gets the Lee Sin in, he gets the, actually, yeah, he does also have the Sage Dragon Lord unit, which is named Diana. Sometimes you just gotta stall for time until you remember what the unit is called. So he has 2 Dragon Lord in, right? And he also has Sage in. She's a fantastic late game unit. If we can get more Dragon Lord in later, we'll be very happy. That Silas just dealt 16,000 damage, by the way. Item-wise here, we're looking for last tank item. We could also just look for a Lysandra item, though. TG would be fantastic. Anything that helps her cast would be fantastic. Edge of Night is going to be the pickup here. Could be Edge of Night Lysandra, or maybe it's going somewhere else. I'm not sure. I mean, Edge of Night Lysandra is not terrible. Yeah, he's just going to go Edge of Night Lysandra. She is a very short-range unit, so, I mean, Edge of Night helps her survive a lot of, like, the AoE stuff, or if there's, like, melee units that you're scared of. So, makes sense. And I think YBY1 is going 10 here. 38 HP. He's hit a lot of his stuff already. He's kind of at a loss for what to add to this board. I mean, we still have an Aatrox 2 on our board, so I wouldn't be surprised if that comes out pretty soon. Because that, yeah, it's Bruiser and it's Ghostly, but I mean, it's an Aatrox 2 when we could have something like just a Galio 2 sitting on this board here for Storyweaver as well. The issue is just the Galios going back into the pool. What is this? Oh, she gives us a 5 cost, and she gave us a Rakan. Wow. It's not bad at all. We are going to roll down here. Yeah, we can't. After that loss, we really can't think too hard about going 9. We're going to pick up another Silas here, so we're 6 Silases. But I don't love this kind of thing. And I hate the way he flickers his thing while he rolls down. I don't know how this helps him. It's that Zoomer APM. You guys know how old this YBY1 guy is, by the way? I was looking at his Liquipedia page for some reason. This guy is really young. Let me pull it over. Is he like 19 years old? He's not like 10, but he's pretty okay. I accidentally minimized my other Chrome window. I mean, look him up on Liquipedia. He's like a teenager, I think, or maybe like early 20s, if that. But I think he's like 19 years old, maybe early 20s. But I mean, you can tell by the way he flickers his screen. We do pick up another Silas here, and with this duplicator that we picked up off of the encounter, we are now 1 off Silas 3. Looks like he was flickering his thing to look around and see if anyone is holding Silas, and I have to imagine, because we're rolling so deep here, that no one is holding Silas, and he's just trying to roll here to hit before other people realize. There's a Galio if we want it. You lose Ghostly, but you do get to pick up Storyweaver. Oh my god, look at this Lysandra setup, by the way. IE plus the Edge of Night here, just AD Lysandra. But I mean, it's okay. We're gonna get destroyed by this fast 9 board from Twitch TV Harlequin TFT. Harlequin TFT, yeah, that's their name. Okay, one more chance to pick up our 3-star 4 cost here. Pick up a Diana here, sell to look for it. We are actually gonna open sell another unit. Oh my god, and it's enough. It's actually enough. Wow, the open sell of that was Irelia, by the way, to actually hit the Silas here. I mean, what a crazy play to go for it. But he knows that, like, if he doesn't actually go for this Silas, that he's gonna lose the game. But now, I mean, it's just easy, right? It's just easy. He had the rolls from Irelia, and I mean, now who cares if you have Irelia 1 on your board? I mean, beautiful stuff from YBY1. I think a lot of people would say like, oh, I mean, like, am I really selling my Irelia here? But he knows, right? Especially because Sphinx is in his pool, and you saw how strong Sphinx's board is. If he doesn't hit the Silas, he loses the game. So, playing to his outs from day 1, he ends up picking up the Galio finally here. Yeah, he's actually, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's better. Like, you get to play a better unit. He's actually playing this Kale as just frontline Kale to give AP to this Silas 3, which is actually kind of hilarious. But I mean, Silas's AP scalings at 3-star are insane, so it actually makes a lot of sense. And just look at this Silas. The BT and the Zanya's guarantee that it never dies. I don't know why this guy's even scouting. He should just leave and go out the door. he's big chilling so hard here. Gonna pick up Irelia 2 to finally remake that Irelia so that we at least have an Irelia back on our board, but it's just a formality at this point. One more fight. Only way we can lose is if our opponent hits another 3-star 4 cost, but because they're fast 9, it's very hard for them to do that. Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, 3-star 5 cost, but once again, very, very difficult to do. So one more fight until it's the win for YBY1. What a cool game. Just, I mean, I really liked that pivot at 3-1. The minute he saw the Silas, he wanted to play around this Exalted as well. Played around his items so well. Played around the Silver Spoon, which I think was pretty cool. And like I was talking about, the Mythic board, which I don't think a lot of people consider an S-tier opener, but YBY1 makes it an S-tier opener. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, check out my Twitch, and all my other links down below. Thanks for watching.